Welcome to the Sam and Joe VA Show, where we teach women just like you how to start and scale a thriving virtual assistant business.
We're your hosts, Sam and Joe, and get ready to have the control, flexibility, and freedom you've always dreamed of.
Welcome to episode 60, Pick Up the Phone.
Yes. Pick up that phone. This episode is going to be really interesting for me personally, because although this is a key bit of advice we give a lot of virtual assistants that come to us when they're having issues with a client or a new lead's not calling them back or whatever the issue they come to us with, it's often the very first thing we tell them is you need to pick up the phone and you need to speak to them. And when we say pick up the phone, a Zoom call, it's the same thing nowadays, whether it's a mobile phone, a landline, or a Zoom call. Now, the reason why this is really interesting, because despite me giving this advice, I hate the phone calls. I hate people calling me, and I hate calling people. I'm one of those people in that box that just hates it. I mean, Joe, you've been with me when the phone's rung and I'm just going, who the hell's calling me? Like, what? Why
is someone calling? Yeah. I know that you're definitely not alone. I think people have this fear around the phone ringing has a lot of uncertainty around it, and often people these days are only calling to give bad news or for a bad reason. And so I think we have this like anxiety around why is someone calling me? What are they going to tell me? And this uncertainty and fear, because we have actually gotten really not used to talking on the phone. We have gotten used to Facebook message, like DMs and PMs and text messages and WhatsApp. And we have just we've started to not use the phone at all. And honestly, it is so much better to talk to someone than to be emailing or texting, because you just can't get the tone of someone in an email or a text message. And we're not saying that you need to phone everyone all the time for everything, but there are some really key situations that mean you really have to pick up the phone, and it just goes so much better. One key one that I can think of is unhappy clients. If a client emails you saying that they are unhappy about something, immediately pick up the phone and talk to them. I absolutely promise you that if you go in with the right attitude and you say, hey, I've just got your email. I'm so sorry to hear that you're feeling that way. Like, please, talk me through how you're feeling, what's going on for you, so that we can come up with a solution and get this working better. No one can be mad at you. No one can yell at you if you start a conversation like that. And I promise you, as soon as you pick up the phone and talk to someone, it actually diffuses a whole bunch of their frustration and anger that they might be feeling, because now they're actually almost face to face, but they are right there in front of someone. We talk about trolls on online. The reason why they are trolling and saying those awful things is because they are hiding behind a computer. If you actually spoke to that person in person or on the phone, they wouldn't actually say all of those things that they are happy to type, because it just diffuses it and it makes it more human and more personal. So I promise you, unhappy clients, pick up the phone.
Yeah, 100%. And another one would be along the same lines, difficulties with team members. If there's been a communication breakdown or there's issues that are happening with one of your team members, once again, it's the best thing to do is to actually have that conversation. I mean, just the back and forths of the emails, it's just so time consuming. Not only is it time consuming, is, I'm a big fan of emojis, and emojis are, I guess, a good way to kind of show your intent or the tone in an email, but it doesn't cut the mustard a lot of the time. A smiley face is just not enough in a difficult situation.
Yeah. Talking on the phone is just going to actually be the most, not just efficient, But the way that you're going to actually get the truth and the real, like, hey, like, how are you feeling about this? And they will be able to talk exactly how they're feeling. In an email, it's very planned and thought out, where you get a person is a lot more natural when they're on the phone, like actually just talking out something with you. And there's no stewing behind emails, like get on the phone with people. It goes much better. And to give feedback to someone and talk them through, like, hey, this is what I'm seeing, like this is what we need to see. How are you feeling about things? What's your feedback, etc.? Like that is much better on a Zoom call or a phone call.
And another one would be following up new leads, wouldn't it? A lot of virtual assistants, they don't like following up anyway. By the way, listen to the podcast episode we did on following up new leads. You need to listen to that. But at some point, pick up the phone. That personal touch always benefits 100% of the time.
Yeah, because I think too, and this is not just following up leads that you've already spoken to or dealt with, but also new leads when they come in. Both of those situations, definitely a phone call is best. When a new lead comes in and you pick up the phone and you call them, you are immediately going to stand out against anyone else who they might have inquired about their services with, other virtual assistants, and they might have emailed, maybe 5 different VAs. If you pick up the phone and you're the one who's actually willing to do that and speak to them, you are going to be right at the top of that list in that potential client's mind.
Because all of a sudden you are a real person. You're not just this name on a website. You are a real person. And that's what it comes down to. If we're talking about finding clients, it's building meaningful relationships. How can you do that on email or messenger? You can't. You can't.
And a client really wants to know that you are proactive. You're proactively picking up the phone and talking. You're showing your confidence, even if it might be, fake it till you make it. At least you are showing that you have that confidence, that proactiveness. And remember that they are judging how you are and the way that you interact from that very first moment that they speak to you or that first interaction, because they are judging whether you are going to be great in front of their clients and how you're going to deal with things in their own business. And if you are not willing to pick up the phone, then that's not going to be the best impression that you can give.
Oh, especially if they're looking for a VA that's offering phone minding services or diary management, booking travel and accommodation and meetings and whatnot. Yeah, you need to prove that you can actually speak professionally.
Yeah, and that you're going to do the most efficient way of organizing something, Going back 5 times with someone trying to organize a time for a meeting, you pick up the phone and talk to them and just say, hey, I'll just call you and let's book it in. This is what we want to chat about. That's way faster and people are more than happy to do that.
Yeah. Another time you should pick up the phone is if you've got a client that all of a sudden, or maybe from word go, from the day you've signed them up, either way, pick up the phone if you're not getting the work from them. If they're, for whatever reason, reluctant to hand over work, you need to pick up the phone, you need to talk them through it, do some hand holding and figure out what the issue is. You can't do that by email.
No. Another one, when a client signs their proposal or they accept your terms of engagement or they say, yes, I want to go ahead, immediately pick up the phone, congratulate them, and, welcome them aboard and book in that first session. That is absolutely best on the phone.
Yeah, awesome. Following up, if you've asked a client for a testimonial and they're like, yeah, absolutely, I'm going to do that. Remind me though, don't forget to remind me. And you've reminded them 5 times via email and you still haven't got it, pick up the phone.
Ask them the questions that you want them to answer for the testimonial. Pick up the phone, ask them.
Yeah.
Almost every situation where there is an issue that needs a phone call, or when you are trying to make a really great first impression with the brand new client or a lead or following them up or anything to do with those first couple of weeks, make it a phone call. Feel the fear, do it anyway, pick up the phone and speak to people as real humans. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Sam and Joe VA Show. If you'd like to find out more, head to the VA Foundry website to check out the Members Club and the amazing resources, training, and coaching.
You can find us at thevafoundry.com.